Hello, and welcome to the Woo is True podcast. I am your host, Dr. Nicole Garitano. I like to refer to myself as a recovering academic and healthcare provider, and I now help other people develop their intuition and really come to terms with this idea of science and spirituality. I am a lover of both evidence and divine coincidence. So let's see if you're in the right place. Are you someone who's ever wondered how spirituality and science fit together? Maybe you've questioned what you learned through traditional religion, or you've had experiences that you know have a deeper meaning and you just aren't sure how to figure those out. If so, the Woo is True is for you. In this podcast, I want to make the practical mystical and the mystical practical, because I know there's a way to balance the two and learn from both. It doesn't have to be either or, it can be both and. Both practical and spiritual, both science and energy, both concrete and ethereal. So let's swap or for and dive into the woo. Hello, and welcome to day 4 of the Balanced Being Reset. If you've made it to day 4, you are hanging in there, and I hope you are learning some valuable tips and tricks this week in terms of how you can easily, quickly, and really without having to spend any money, start to make some healthier choices for your body, mind, and spirit. And so far we have covered the importance of sleep and sun gazing with our circadian rhythm and how that impacts our body, mind, and spirit. And then we talked about the importance of calling our energy back, where we're giving our energy each day, doing that as a cleansing process for ourselves throughout the day and before bed at night. And then yesterday we talked about breathing, and not just the physical act of breathing, but what breathing has really meant from a spiritual standpoint and what it truly means within our body, mind, and spirit. So today we're going to be talking about exercise. And I know right away, many of you listening might be like, oh, it's about exercise. We hear about exercise all the time. Yes, I know exercise is important. And this is going to be exercise with a twist. Okay, so yes, at different points in life, rigorous exercise can be very beneficial and worthwhile. But really, in the day to day, just finding that inner balance for yourself, I have found that gentle movement that involves both your mind and your body, that brings your awareness to the actual activity that you're doing, is the most beneficial for finding clarity and really being able to get through some of those obstacles that come up. So, first, I just want to share with you more from the scientific end. There was a really excellent article published in 2022 in the medical journal Population Aging. And this was a group of researchers out of Australia. And what they did is they went and they looked at the characteristics of people that would be considered living in these blue zones. So if you're not familiar with blue zones, these are different areas around the world where people regularly live into their 80s, 90s, and over 100. And so there's a whole organization located here in the US called Blue Zones, with lots of fascinating information, recipes. However, this research article, those researchers did go and look at those different areas around the world to see what type of physical activity were they engaged in on a daily basis that contributed to their longevity. And I think we're well aware in the US, we don't have a plan for physical activity as we age. In fact, when, people in our family turn 80, 90 over, if they make it to over 100, once they can't care for themselves anymore, we usually put them in some type of nursing facility, assisted living, a skilled care type of facility. And that's just become the normal. And yet it really doesn't have to be. We've burdened our healthcare system in some ways by not promoting prevention. And so one of the things I've really gone deep into over the past 3 years is looking at these elements of longevity medicine and what can we do to start to shift our idea of normal and just start to incorporate small habits, each day that will, number one, right, balance us, mind, body, and spirit, but also allow us from that happy, balanced place to live beyond 80, beyond 90, beyond 100 years old. And so regardless of how old you are while you're listening to this information is super, super valuable. So what they found in these different areas is that people didn't do what you may think of as like traditional exercise. Some of it was traditional. However, the key thing that everyone interviewed for the study said was that they did activities that they enjoyed. So, wow, isn't that counterintuitive to sometimes what we're taught? We're taught like, do this workout plan, follow this system. If you're a runner, you need to be out there running this amount of time. If you've committed to like a program of some kind, you need to see it through to the end. So even when we get burnt out on it, even when we're not as motivated or feeling as passionate about it, our mind, our spirit, our body goes into like that guilt mode. Like, I have to do it. I have to do it. And energetically, when we're in guilt mode, we're less likely to see results because we're not in alignment. We're not balanced. So give yourself some time after you listen to this to really think about what are the activities that you really enjoy doing. And so, what I have found to be true, and some of the other research I've done, is that it really is activities that engage your mind along with your body, and you are focused somewhat on your breathing. So, I always recommend to my clients when they're just trying to build this in, to their everyday, just building in like some simple yoga practices, some simple like Tai Chi or Qigong. Any of those you can find like 5 to 10 minute practices on YouTube. If you just go in and search for any of those practices, you can find one that you like, and you really can do this in like 5 to 10 minutes a day. And eventually, what a lot of people find is they enjoy it. So that time is extended, or they do so many sessions of that 5 to 10 minute practice or video throughout the day. So that would be the invitation. And all of those are amazing because you do have a certain level of attention to your breath, which we talked about yesterday, the importance of breath, but you're also using your mind to focus on the breath, and then you're directing your body in certain patterns and certain movements. And so all of those things engaging that way do produce a level of clarity. There's cognitive functioning that's enhanced with that. You're creating better balance in your body. You're toning muscles potentially when you're doing that. And you are in a regulated breathing state. So that really is a nice place of balance and homeostasis when you start to create time in your day for these simple movements. The other thing that can be really beneficial is mindful walking. Okay, so that is going out for a walk with no electronics. You're not listening to something in your in your AirPods or earbuds. You're just really focused on the walk. You're looking at nature around you. You're noticing the movement of your arms and legs, how they sway, how your feet hit the pavement. You're noticing your breath, how the air feels. It becomes an experiential walk where you're noticing all those things around you. Even doing that for 15 to 20 minutes a day can be beneficial. So a lot of times, I will tell clients if they're struggling to get the sun gazing in and the movement, what would it be like to go just on a 15-minute morning walk and just feel the sun in your face and do that movement where you're bringing all those things into your awareness. And then you've taken two habits, combined them into one, and you end up feeling really empowered and successful when you get in a rhythm of doing that. So if you're struggling to think, oh, how would I fit this in? See how you can start to combine things. And even if you can't do it every day, of the week, where can you do that certain days of the week? And then maybe there's something you do alternately on the other days. I also know, when the weather's not optimal. So, even taking like the walk through your house, if you have stairs, doing that and just being really mindful of what it feels like in your body and your mind, and noticing your breath as you do that walking through your house and take those stairs. So there's always an alternative when we truly want to pursue something and make it a habit. So I just want to circle back because I found this so fascinating. So these individuals in these blue zone areas around the world, they had all said, like I told you, that they always did activities that they really loved, that they enjoy doing. And so I'm going to share some of what they shared in terms of what they love to do. So outdoor hobbies, many of them still did like farming activities, which I found super interesting. Housekeeping was a top one. Walking was like off the charts. In some of those countries, they're still people that do that shepherds type of work. So they're out there like herding the sheep and watching over the sheep. So they're getting a lot of walking in, but it's more of a stroll, when you're herding, and they're taking them to different pastures to graze, and they really enjoy it. So they don't want to give it up. Swimming was another popular one. Dancing, I love this because dancing can bring people so much joy. Gardening was really popular. Anything where they were engaged in nature also topped the list. So, just like I had said about going and walking and noticing nature, you can also go to the park, go to trails, do nature walks, find that special space not too far from your home that you can visit regularly. Hiking was another one, horseback riding. And then in Okinawa in Japan, there's like a group of 80 to 90-year-old women that they interviewed, and they do a special type of weaving. And it was so interesting to read because part of what the women described is that they have to have really good eye-hand coordination to do this weaving. They have to really engage their brain to be able to weave it just right. And it's a level of indoor physical labor. So I thought that so beautifully spoke to those concepts I have seen really come to life of needing to engage your mind, your body, and because they love it, they're engaging their spirit, their passion around that. So, I would invite you to think about what are those things you really love? What is like a gentle, uh, physical activity? What is some type of movement you could start committing to every day, not because you want to lose weight, not because, you need to like go to some event and look a certain way. What if it was truly just for you to feel more in balance, more clear in your mind, feeling strong and confident in your body, and doing something that really brings you joy on a daily basis? So that is where I will wrap up.
Thanks for filling your ears with possibility today. You can find all the resources shared in today's episode in the show notes or description, depending on which platform you are tuning in from. Until next time, remember your understanding starts inside of you. So stay true to your woo.